for recreation, dedication, hard work, plus patience. To some more of my sacrifice, I'm done waiting. Told you that I wasn't playing. Now you hear what I've been saying. Dedication. Dedication. Look.
Good morning, ladies. So I want to come and make a video about and answer some of the questions that I've seen in some of the Facebook groups as far as how do you know if your faja is too tight? How do you know if it's too loose? When should you switch your faja? Should you sleep in it? So just answer a couple questions. So I am 4 weeks post-op. I got Vaser 360 lipo, so I can only speak about lipo. Tummy tucks, from what I hear, is slightly different. So my experience is only about liposuction. I'm not sure how it works if you got a tummy tuck. So when you're done with your surgeries, most doctors will put you in a faja that's not that tight. My doctor put me in a 3XL faja. The reason is that is because at that point, it's not about too much compression, because you're leaking fluids and they want the fluids to kind of go through you. If you're too tight when you're still kind of like leaking fluids, what will happen is the fluids will ball up in your areas where you got the lipo and can become rock hard. That's why some plastic surgeons, or most, suggest that you stay in that stage 1 faja for about the first 2 weeks of your surgery. That way it allows the fluid to kind of run through you and you're not compressed too tight, which is what can cause the fluid to harden up, and which can be very difficult to get, released, which is why you have to get your massages. So with that being said, the bigger faja just allows that fluid to kind of go through you. So for me, I kept the faja that my surgeon put me in, the 3XL. I wore that for about like the first 2 weeks or so, give or take. I wasn't being compressed at all, but I did my research and also talking to my doctor. He told me not to rush into the next stage of the faja because I was still, I had a lot of fluid in me, and that bigger faja just allows that fluid to go, just to go through you without you having hard pockets of faja hard pockets of fluids from the faja being too compressed and too tight. And I was okay with that because I was still, swollen, and he was right. I had a lot of fluid with me. I was getting my massages. I did, have some hard pockets, but when I got my lymphatic massages, they massaged those out. So I was okay with that. I really wasn't in a rush to go to a smaller faja because I know this is a marathon and not a race, and that it could take 3 to 6 months for you to see your full results. That's if you do everything right, like working out and eating right and things of that nature. So don't rush to go to the smaller faja. Trust me, whether you go to the smaller faja in 1 week or 2 weeks, it just don't rush, okay? Because you definitely don't want to develop too many hard pockets, because if they can't be massaged out, you may have to get those drained. So definitely, try not to rush. So after the 3XL faja, I actually was smaller, but I purchased a 2XL and an XL. The 2XL was too big, so I went from a 3XL straight to an extra large. This is the 2XL faja I have on now, but I got it altered. Remember I told you all, you don't have to keep buying them, just go find a seamstress and get them altered. I got it altered here, so now it's a lot tighter. So I went straight to an XL. So this is probably a medium now, to where when she altered it, it probably fits like a medium. Yeah, so, and my XL, I'm gonna get that smaller. So to answer your questions, how do you know if your faja is too tight? If you cannot breathe, like that's the only way I can explain it. If you cannot breathe, if you feel like you're suffocating, your faja is too tight. The purpose of your faja is to compress you, not suffocate you. The reason I'm saying this is because I wanted my faja to be as tight as possible, thinking that, you know, that really is gonna make a difference. And I literally was trying to catch my breath. I remember putting my faja on the very last hook. I had like a waist shaper on and all kinds of stuff, and I went to sleep. I was trying to, you know, catch, because when you sleep, you can't control your breathing. So I was trying to catch my breath in my sleep. So I took off the sweat belt, but the faja was still so tight. I had my foams in, I had my board in, like I just had everything in trying to sleep. And I realized that this is not gonna work. So I had to figure out another way to still stay compressed and sleep, because the faja was extremely too tight. You should be able to breathe in your faja. It should not be so tight to where you feel like you're trying to catch your breath. That's not the purpose of a faja. The purpose is to compress you, not stop you from catching your breath. So what I do is, during the day, I put my faja on the very last hook. I put in my ab board. And since I'm 4 weeks post-op, I just put a foam here, here, and here. But when you first get your surgery, you should have foams all around. So that's another thing too. Your faja may be, because you have to have the foams all around, it may seem a lot tighter as well. So you definitely want to, you know, just be mindful of that. So I just put my foams here because I don't want to get the indentation here in my stomach, and on the sides. And then like for the gap here, I just have like a little maxi pad. So I just put the maxi pad going across here for the gap to give you a little bit more compression. So during the day, I put it on the third hook, and I have a sweat belt, a fitness sweat belt, and I wrap that around, and that gives me extra compression. At night, since I'm 4 weeks post-op, technically, I don't have to wear this at night if I don't want to anymore. I can wear like some seamless shapewear. I could just wear like a waist trainer. It depends on me. But I'm most likely going to wear the faja for probably about another 2 weeks, probably at the 6 weeks mark, and continue to sleep in it. And then after that, I'm going to go to something else. I have been alternating different things because the faja gets on my nerves down here. So I have did a waist shaper, which also did work. I have done the sleepwear, the seamless sleepwear, but I feel like I'm not compressed enough with that unless I put like a sweat belt on there on me, which is probably what I'm going to do. So at night, what I do is I no longer sleep with the board. Like I tried to sleep with the board last night. In the middle of the night, I just snatched the board out, because what happens is when I was trying to lay on my side here, the board was like digging in me, so it became like very uncomfortable. So I just snatched the board out at night. You don't have to sleep with this, but I do sleep with my phone. So at night, what I do, instead of putting my faja on the third hook, I put it on the second hook. That gives me a little bit more room when I'm sleeping. So as you can see, and then also because I got a breast lift, sometimes I have to take my straps off when I sleep because it irritates my breast. Even though my incision tape is gone, it still irritates like the sides of my breast. So I kind of like sleep like this. I'm still compressed, but not to the point to where I can't breathe. And you can see my back is still compressed. So not to the point to where I can't breathe. So this is pretty loose as far as compression goes. So if you can put your hand down like this in your faja, it's too loose. With your foams, it is too loose. If you can put your hand all the way down in your faja without having to do this to put your hand down there, it is too loose. So, and I can do that on both sides. I could just put my hand there, and it's kind of too loose, especially with me having the foams. So this isn't going to help me with compression during the day. So what I would do is I would take this off of the second hook and put it on the third hook and wear that like that throughout the day. But while I'm sleeping it, this is perfect for me to sleep because it gives me that extra room to breathe without me being uncomfortable, because I was wearing my faja too tight to sleep and I was very uncomfortable. It's been times in the middle of the night I just take the faja completely off because I'm so uncomfortable and can't breathe, and that's not what you don't want to do that. So that's what I do. So today I'm going to go ahead and put it on the last hook, and I'm going to put my sweat belt around it to give me that extra compression. But as you go, you will understand that you have to do what works for you as far as compression. Everything that works for some people isn't going to work for you. It isn't going to work for you, and vice versa. So it's really trial and error. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't in these. For me, I wish I would have found these groups and videos before I got my surgery, because I would have learned a lot. For me, it was really trial and error. That's why I'm so honest and try to give, as many suggestions as possible to kind of help guide people, because I didn't have a clue. So I really kind of like learned myself. And as far as the maxi pads go, these are really good if you have any gaps, right? I always put a tank top on me before I put my faja on. And if I have any gaps, like you see there's a gap here, the faja doesn't come all the way to the top. So I just get a pad, I put that here, and then I get my fitness, my sweat belt, and I put it here for the extra compression. And you can put them in the gaps here if you have gaps in between your pads, or you see how it's like a crease in the back. You can put it here for that crease as well. So these help a lot. Another thing with the fajas is, so you don't spend so much money, get them altered. Where I go get my massages in Atlanta, they also do alterations. You can find a seamstress or someone who sells fajas in your area. They may do the alterations as well. I have had the fajas with 1 row of hooks and a zipper and the 3 hooks. I don't like the one with the zipper and the 1 row of hooks. I just feel like I'm not compressed enough. But for this one, I feel like I'm more compressed because I can see the results, because you can see that you're started at the first row of hooks. Now you're on a 3rd, so you're getting smaller. With the one with the zipper and it has the 1 row of hooks, you really can't tell. So when you get smaller, you kind of gotta either get that one altered or buy another one, because it doesn't give you those extra row of hooks to see your progress. And I paid, like, for this faja, I paid about $65 or $70, and it's so comfortable. I got this from a Colombian store in Miami. It's so comfortable to walk around in. It's so comfortable to breathe. This did have a zipper, and I said this in my other videos. I didn't get a BBL, so I cut out the zipper part, and you could also cut out the butt part if you didn't get a BBL either, to make it more comfortable. But I haven't done that yet. So yeah, so that is my take on if your faja is too tight, and if it is too loose. Remember, you should be able to breathe in your faja, and if you can stick your hand in it like I just showed you, you know it's too loose. So I can actually take this off, and let me show y'all what I'm talking about. So I take this all the way down. Okay, so let me put it on the 3rd hook. I'm not gonna hook it all the way up because so see, I could put it on the 3rd hook. And even with this one, it's easy for me to put it on the 3rd hook. And I normally would put my board in, but during the day, I just don't like the indentation the board leaves in my stomach, which is why I put it on top of the foams. But the board, the board is really preference. Like the board, like I know people who didn't use the board, and I know some people who did. So I wanted to kind of try it for myself. I think the board is really like a preference thing. Okay. So like this, I can see like the other one, I can stick my hand down, all the way down. Now that it's on the third hook, I can stick it like right here. So even with this, she took it in, so I have an extra large. I'm gonna allow her to take that one in, because even with this one, I'm getting smaller. So even this one can get probably taken in a little bit more. And you wanna know how I know that? Let me show you. Cause see, whenever you can, let's say, you see I'm on a third hook, but if I stretch it enough, it can go behind the third hook. Like it can, if it was another set of hooks, it can hook there, which lets me know that I have room to make this, you know, tighter. So this was a 2XL. She made this down to like a medium large, give or take. So now I have an extra large. I want to have her probably make that one to a small. But yes, so definitely get them altered. If you have any questions, comment below. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel for more informative videos like this. You can message me if you have any questions. Follow my Instagram, imperfect_fits_Toya. DM me if you have any questions. I hope this video was helpful to the people who wanted to know, because I know how it is to not know. So hopefully this video definitely could help you in some way. Until then, y'all be safe. Please do your research, and y'all be safe. And I wish everyone a speedy recovery. Be safe, y'all.